Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and listening into another 3DS Game Ideas video. And this one's probably going to be a little bit odd to people. They'll be like, why would you want a Splatoon game on the 3DS? And at first, I kind of had thought about it being like the first Splatoon, just, scaled down for the 3DS. And then I thought about it for a while. I was like, well, there's no real point to that if there's Splatoon 2 coming out for the Switch in not too long. Like there wouldn't be much of a point. But I got to thinking about something. What was said about the second game is supposed to take place 2 years after the first game, which ironically it comes out 2 years after the first game. But I was thinking about the fact that they could do a side story game within that time frame that would be like a platformer, like using like Splatoon esque physics, where you're shooting the ink and you have to dip into it to recharge it and aim and stuff like that, but do it on a 2D playing field, and sort of like to take the art style that Splatoon Legends mock-up was like for April Fools last year, using that kind of art style and putting the game into like I said, a 2D platforming type situation, I think it could actually be a really good game. And they could give it like make it like a give it like a clay like type of look for the 3DS. That would also be pretty cool to do it that way too. Um, well, I was thinking about that, and I was like, they could do a side story that one could explain the second Judd that we got out of nowhere. Like my thought was like, you have this game, like it doesn't have to be very long, like maybe like 6 7 hours. And within that amount of time, they can give you like 30 stages. Um, but what I was thinking is, Judd has been, let's say, catnapped by the Octolings, and you have to basically go out and try to get him back, like hunt them down and get him back. Like you're like constantly chasing after him, like sort of like Mario esque how Bowser's the Koopalings would move Peach from one castle to the next, kind of like that. And I think the overworld would benefit from being very Mario styled. Like you just have like a Mario styled overworld, but then the platforming is tuned to how Splatoon works. Like where you have to paint walls and stuff to be able to climb them and things of that nature. Uh, and having to change into your squid form to fall through certain types of floors, or to be able to recharge your ink and stuff like that. All of that could be incorporated, and then using the ink to lay paths for you for safe paths for yourself, as well as to be able to take out Octoling enemies. Again, I think all of this amounts to something good. Um, and then I thought of a feature where you where there are specific colors that you have to have for particular places. Like, say, for instance, you like your squidling, your inkling that you're playing with is blue, but the area that you need to go to is pink. Well, this is something that they could utilize for the 3DS and would be cool. And I actually got this concept from a Metal Gear Solid mobile game that I played way back. Um, where you use the cameras on the 3DS in order, or your 2DS, use the camera on it to find a color. Like you can, like there's a just like a button that you'll push or something that you tap on the touchscreen that'll put it into color finder mode, where you can change the color of your inkling to match what color you need in order to progress to certain areas. Now, I'm not looking for like specific shades and all that stuff. I'm not worried about that, but just like to have the same general color. So, like if you need to go if you need to be pink to get into an area, you look at something pink and it copies the color off of it and transforms your inkling to that color. Like that would be, I think that'd be cool. That would be something interesting. And it's something else that I think it's another one of those capabilities of the 3DS that just gets overlooked as like utilizing the camera for some of your games. Um, And that to me, that would be awesome. And like, and you know, the lazy people would just go on their computer, type in the color on Google and shit, have it on the screen, then point the 3DS at the screen. But I mean, it's still it gives you an added element of interaction with your game. And as a person that likes that type of stuff, I would be perfectly fine with having that. So having your inkling be able to change colors mid mid level would be awesome. Like you just change the color to whatever you want it to be at any time. Obviously, the Octolings are always going to switch, and it would be another good thing to have the Octolings all also always changing the color of their ink. Like so, like it's variable. Like you are safe among the same colored ink, obviously. And when you change colors, you have to be careful of that yourself. You have to be careful that you don't step back into old ink before recovering it. So it would make it interesting, and it would add to the game. Like for those who are too lazy, they can just complete the game without having to worry about necessarily having a specific color to go down those particular corridors or take on certain challenges. Like the game can be played perfectly fine without it, but if you want to be a completionist for the sake of being able to complete things, then yeah, you would utilize that color mapping function or color changing function to be able to get to those areas. And and what would be good about it is going through these areas will allow you to open up other weapons like from the original Splatoon, even maybe a couple of them from the second game, like to show them being like say, okay, this is where this stuff was developed, this is when it happened, this is when they got them. I think that would be cool. That'd be really interesting. And again, that would be a way to put Splatoon on the 3DS that wouldn't encroach or inhibit upon the Switch game Splatoon 2. And it doesn't have to have like an online mode. It literally doesn't have to. It could just be about the story. I mean, I would add an online mode or maybe like a co-op mode where people can play cooperatively together. I think that would be nice. Or like a challenge mode where you can play against other people where you're racing them or something. Like any other little thing could be added. Like, but the main crux of this would be saving Judd, and then you find out that there's a second Judd while you're playing. Like, say you save the first one, the one that was familiar, the one from the first platoon, and then you find out about the second one. Like, that would explain why there are two of them. Like, and I think that would be pretty cool. Doubt though that Nintendo would do it, but I mean, it's just like one of those things in my head. Like, there's so much potential for this, and you guys, I know you guys would like make an awesome game if you went ahead and did this. I just like I want to play this because it just sounds fun. It sounds cool, and and I know Nintendo could do a bang up job with just the blueprint that I put out. Like that blueprint could lead to an amazing side story game for Splatoon that would fit between the first and the second game, and it would also give you an actual story as to what happened between those 2 years. It doesn't have to be like a huge event. Like it doesn't have to be something that takes a huge amount of time in the lore of Splatoon, but it could be something like just like a year after the first game ended, this happened. You had to go rescue Judd, and then you found out about another one, and you ended up saving them from the Octolings, and that's how you got two Judds for your turf wars. Like so, basically, there couldn't be turf wars in this game because there's no Judd to judge them. He's not there. So and they be like, well, fuck, we need him for this. We gotta go back and get our boy so he can judge all these contests for us, and that's basically the premise of the story for it. I mean, they could do whatever else they wanted to with it, but I'm just saying that would be the premise for the story. But tell me what you guys think. I think it would actually be pretty good. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears up for more stuff from me. And until the next time, please enjoy your games and peace out.